Here we go. Hey everybody. Hey sis, how you doing?
This is so dope. I love
I
this.
know, right?
Love
Welcome
this.
everybody to Vanity's Live.
Welcome, welcome. We are so happy y'all are with us today. And as y'all can see, we have a new platform.
New platform, you guys. If you
Oh,
like it, send up some hearts.
look,
We are
we ain't
excited
getting too
about
much out here. It's okay.
our we have a
Welcome,
new
welcome.
platform, a new vibe. We are here with our Vanity's Live. And we have my girl Ray. I'm Cherise, and we have an amazing special guest for you guys today.
Yes, amazing special guest. We're gonna bring him in very soon. But in the meantime, y'all send this live to all your friends, anybody that is ever even just curious about the film industry, whether you want to be a part of it or not. We got some inside scoop for everybody. So join in today. Share this live with your friends. And before we get into it, let's introduce ourselves, sis.
All right. Well, I am Cherise Slay, originally from the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, you guys. I am a hair and a makeup artist. I am in local 706 as well as local 484, which is out of Texas. I've been in the industry for quite some time. I started off as a hairstylist, a salon owner, a platform artist, worked in the music industry with a few different artists, and then I traveled over to TV and film, which I'm currently doing right now. I'm in LA right now, currently working on an amazing show with some amazing hair and makeup artists. I'm having the time of my life. Have to pinch myself sometime because I'm living a dream I had when I was a 6-year-old girl when I did my very first haircut. On my brother, I cut that famous Dalmatian dog haircut on my brother. I did get in trouble, you guys. I got a whooping, but it didn't stop me from doing what I absolutely wanted to do all my life. And so I've also had an opportunity to work on shows like Hulu and Apple and I do this every doggone time, but Paramount and gosh, several other shows, and I'm just enjoying the ride and meeting some amazing people like the guests that we have coming on today and getting to share it with you. So I'm going to turn it over to Ray so she can give you her spiel.
Yes, hey y'all. Thank you, sis. And my name is Ray Dion. I am from Fort Worth, Texas. Also currently working here in LA. The weather's actually great this week. But yeah, when they say it never rains in Southern California, baby, somebody lied.
They
Anyway,
told a whole.
somebody lied, y'all. But We are really having a blast here working with some incredible people, man. I can't wait till we can really talk about what we're working on, but brought in by an amazing, talented, great designer who we've had on the show before. And you know what? We've been able to work with some talented people outside of ourselves, um, learn different things, and just always being a sponge in this industry is something that's very key and paramount. And so we're able to do that literally every day, and we're grateful for it. I've been able to work with several different, I guess, production companies from Netflix to Amazon Prime to HBO Max, um, Netflix, Paramount, Hulu, and the list goes on. And Sharice and I could keep going on and on about the people and places we've been and worked with, but this show is, of course, not about us. It is about the amazing and incredible guests we bring on, and it's about you guys, our viewers. And our guest today is nothing short of what we have, you know, uh, talked about ourselves, if not more. But before we get him on, we're excited to have him on today and super grateful and thankful that he took some time out of his day today to join us. But before we get started, we got a little trivia question. And I ain't gonna lie. When Sharice was talking to me about the trivia question earlier, I was like, I'm I said, "Oh, we gonna learn something today."
We are going to learn. So I am going to drop it on the screen, you guys. We got some new technology for you guys.
It's so
So,
cute. It is so cute.
so
Okay, but read the question too while it's
okay, so I'm going to read the question too.
I
So, okay, let me go and make sure I got it up here.
see
So,
I see the
you see
trivia.
it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the trivia question is, which of the following sound related tools is commonly used in the hair department on a film? So our guests will definitely know the answer to this, you guys. A boom microphone. No. B, okay, you guys are gonna have to help me out with this word.
Lavalier, Cavalier.
Lavender microphone. C, a folly, and D, a hair miking system. So you guys throw your answers up in the comments
Mm-hmm,
and let us know what you guys think.
mm-hmm,
And then
mm-hmm,
when our special guests come on, he'll be able to elaborate more on the answers. So we throw these trivia questions up so that it will help not only you, but us too. So we are
yeah,
finding out great information.
I don't know the
So
answer.
for
I'm
those
not
of
gonna
you
lie.
guys who are chiming in, we are now on not just one, not just two, but three platforms that we are streaming live from. And we will be doing this every Sunday, live at 5 Central, Standard 6 p.m. and Pacific, it will be 3 p.m. So we are so happy to do this every Sunday.
Yes,
And so
indeed.
we decided to create this platform, and we did it during the writers and the actors strike to be able to give flowers to people who work so hard behind the scenes. And so when you guys watch a television or a film, you see all the amazing work that is done. But there are so many great people who work so hard, long hours. When I say long hours, I mean real long hours, between
Mm.
20, 10, and sometimes 16, 17, 18 hours, Monday through Friday, and some Fridays or Saturdays.
And with that
It's
being said, it can be sometimes very dangerous. And we want to send our condolences out to
yes,
families of the gentleman that lost his life a week or so ago, leaving set,
you know,
that passed in a car crash.
yeah,
We got to take care of ourselves, guys. Even when we're on these shows, we got to take care of ourselves. Not to say that this person didn't, but we really have to make sure we're getting our rest. And if something doesn't feel right, we got to go with that. We sometimes we try to be superheroes and we can't, you know. So I want to send condolences out to that person and his family and everybody on that show, everybody that was affected by that. And everybody just remember, you know, to take care of yourselves. We only have one life.
That's absolutely true.
Um,
And so, one of the reasons, with that being said, one of the reasons that we created this show is to make sure that people behind the scenes get their flowers as well. And we
mhm.
have had some amazing guests on our show. And if you have not seen our previous shows, make sure you go follow us on YouTube, and we will be streaming their shows on our YouTube channel. So make sure you like, follow, and subscribe, and jump on Instagram and our Facebook page at Vanities Live, and make sure you show some love, you guys. Follow
Yeah.
us there, make your comments, and you know what? We will be highlighting some of our guests and some of our fans as well. So make sure you follow us.
Mhm.
So let's see what we got as far as our comments. Now, we love feedback. So make sure you guys give us some feedback on what you think the answer might
Well, I'm
be.
seeing some. Let's see. Thanks, y'all,
What did you say?
for loving the new production and the intro. And we have some answers. Let's see. I have someone said the answer was D. And let's see, that's all we got so far. What you think? What's the
Do we need to
answer?
do a drum
Is
roll?
it time to what was that?
Is it time? You want to give him the drum roll? Because you know you're real good at that.
And I got the nails, so I can give a good drum roll today. Okay.
Oh, you
Ready?
got the nails popping over there. I got mine
You
done too.
ready?
So
Oh, Elenia says she didn't hear the question. Let's ask the question one more time
okay,
and give everybody
I'm gonna let
one more
you
chance
do it this
to answer.
time because I
And
like how
Elenia,
you
you
said
can't cheat. If you know the answer, you cannot cheat.
it. Okay, why don't you read the answer this time, Ray?
Which of the following sound related tools is commonly used in the hair department on a film? Is it A, a boom microphone, B, a lavalier microphone, C, a Foley artist, or D, a hair miking system? Okay, drum roll. What's the answer?
The answer is D, a hair miking system. And so that was kind of a trick. It was a good answer as well. I
Yeah,
was
because I
like,
was
wow. So we're going to bring our special guest in to elaborate on that answer. He is someone that me and Ray both have had an opportunity to work with. He is simply one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, super talented, and when you are working with someone of this caliber, you don't understand how great they really are until you get a chance to work with them and how important their job is to what we do.
like,
Sometimes people think about just hair and makeup, but there are so many different facets to TV and film, and all these different moving parts work together. None work without the other. Each one of them are equally important. So, Ray, do you think it's time for us to bring our special guest in?
I think it's time to bring our special guest in.
He's
Oh,
quiet, but he is like a firecracker.
we done with the question, right?
We are done with our question. So, you
Okay,
want to take?
let's get that off of there.
All right.
And everybody throw up some hearts for Eric Marsh.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Eric, how you
Hey,
doing?
Eric. Welcome,
Hey,
Eric. Welcome.
thank you. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. I appreciate that a lot.
You
Of
look
course.
amazing
Good.
as you always do.
We're happy to have you here with us. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to join
Absolutely.
us and have a little convo with us. And yeah, we're happy to have you here.
Yeah,
Can you take some time and just kind of introduce yourself to the viewers and tell them a little bit about what it is that you do?
sure. So my name is Eric Marsh. I'm a sound mixer based in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I was born and raised in Arlington, Texas, which I guess is technically the home of the Rangers and the Cowboys. It's where the
Yes.
state actually are located. Um, I've been in the industry for about 14 years now. And most of my work is more in sports and reality versus like narrative or TV.
Okay.
I've
Okay.
seen you on a number of TV shows that we work with you on. So he's
Hmm.
being modest.
I was
Would you
gonna say,
say
I
that,
think he's
Ray?
being a little modest,
I
but
think
it's
he's been a
okay.
little modest too.
Okay,
So
we're
why
gonna
don't you
tap
tell
into
some
it
of
a
the
little bit.
shows that you've worked on?
Yeah, when I started, I want to say I was working on Flip and Move. A long time ago, I worked on what was the name of that other reality show? Operation Repo. I've worked on several of the
Mm,
garage shows that have been filmed in the area. I think I day played on a season of Love Is Blind or like a dating reality show. I was a audio assist on a recent season of like Love and Hip Hop that we recorded last year. Uh,
In Dallas?
no, sorry, this was in Vegas.
Okay,
It was,
okay.
I think it was like a merger between Love and Hip Hop and like another dating show and or like a couples therapy thing, and so we shot that in and around Vegas.
Got you. Got you. Okay, I was about to say, did you just drop some tea?
And we worked on the senior together, right?
Yeah, yeah. Worked on a couple movies. Worked on The Senior. Worked on one that we shot a couple years back called 1985 with Michael Chiklis and Virginia Madsen and Corey Michael Smith. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then
See how
Michael
he
Chiklis
just
again on The
slipped a few
Senior.
things in there? Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
We've done another number of commercials as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of commercial and like industrial stuff shot in the Dallas area too.
Nice. Awesome. That's awesome. I mean, again, we're happy to have you here. And as we are getting into this conversation, y'all, if you have any questions, you can tap them into the comment section. You can put them in, if you're on Instagram, you can put them in the little questions box at the bottom of the page, and we will get those questions answered as soon as we can. In the meantime, it's time for
Mhm.
us to ask some questions.
All right.
You want to go first, Sharice?
Yeah, what made you decide to be a sound mixer? Or what made you get into that field?
All right. Well, when I actually started college, I was going the engineering path. And
Mhm.
midway through that, I realized this is not really the best fit for me. And I was trying to figure out where do I kind of realign my focus. And I kind of switched to a degree that I thought would be more fun. Went into filmmaking. And after kind of dabbling in a few different departments, I eventually landed on sound and felt like this is the one that speaks to me the most. This is the one where I feel like I can have a very tech attitude toward this, but be in a creative world and be surrounded by creative people all the time.
Yeah.
And in my experience, most of my job feels like troubleshooting. It feels like solving puzzles every day because I
Mhm.
essentially have the same goal on every shoot, which is to like record people's voices and the voice of the action as best I can and make sure it sounds clean. But we always have different environments, we have different outfits, people speak differently, they have different emotions going on in the scene, sometimes sound effects, and so there's always a different way to kind of tackle that beast.
It makes sense.
Which is
It's funny that you
yeah.
said you started off as an engineer. Oh, what's going on with my camera? Engineering major. 'Cause so did I. I don't know why I was going to college for engineering. All my uncles were engineers, and I was like, they make good money. Why not? Let's try it. And then I was like, I don't think I like math that much. So I can kind of relate to that path. But there's a lot of different things that go into sound, and we connect with you guys quite a bit. I remember I was working on a show where they had to put a microphone in somebody's wig,
Hmm.
and that was a collaboration between hair, makeup, and costumes. The
Mhm.
microphone had to go inside the costume, up their back, through like some kind of strap contraption, and
Hmm.
then I had to fish it through the wig so that it sat here at the ear.
Yep, yep.
And it was just like, wow, I've never done this before. And it made me think like we don't even realize sometimes how much we're all interconnected.
Hmm.
Have you
Mhm.
had experiences like that where you've had to kind of work closely with hair and makeup to, get that job done?
Oh yes, absolutely. Probably the two departments I interact with most on set are probably camera and wardrobe.
Okay.
Uh, when I was working on not the senior, well, Sharice, did you work on Psychopomp last summer as well?
I did. I did.
Yeah, because there were a few scenes within that movie where I had to talk to hair and makeup because we did end up using a hair rig. There was a scene
Hmm.
where a character was going to have a very like long, flowy, sheer outfit. I think it was going to be a little damp, and we were kind of scratching our heads to figure out where we're going to put this microphone on her because they were shooting it in wide shots, and we couldn't get
Hmm.
the booth as close as we wanted to. So we ended up kind of figuring out a hair rig system because she wasn't wearing a wig; it was natural hair, and it all worked out just fine.
Can you explain the process of how that works and what it looks like? I don't know if you have, we probably should have asked you this if you have something close by, what that actually looks like, because I don't think people understand
Hmm.
how all this magic comes together
Hmm.
when they're watching a show and they're hearing someone talk and they're like, how do they make this happen?
Hmm.
Can you
Yeah.
explain how that actually happens?
So like with the hair rig system specifically, it's kind of a mix of like five different elements.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
each character who's going to be speaking and is going to be recorded typically will have a lavalier microphone on, which is really, really small. Like it's maybe just a few millimeters wide, but it's just a long cable that will plug into a transmitter pack, which is about the size of like maybe a child's fist.
Hmm.
And that has to hide somewhere on their person. It could be attached to their ankle, it could be in their waist, it could be on clipped onto a bra, it could be hidden inside of a hat. We really try to find new and creative ways to get it good in a good location so that it can transmit well but still not be hidden and keep the
Hmm.
actor comfortable. So for the hair rig, we would hide the body pack somewhere on them, work the cable typically up the back of their head because it's going to be concealed if they have longer hair. Uh,
Hmm.
and then I think on Psychopomp, we ended up using hair clips, and we kind of had to weave the cable itself into a series of hair clips, and then find ways to clip it down where the cable didn't make a lump or any visual disfigurement on their head. So it
Wow.
was,
Can you can you speak to the importance of how we have to connect to make sure that the noise or how things have to be in a certain position so that it doesn't rattle and it doesn't make noise?
oh, absolutely. Like the quiet on set is very real because while the microphones are very small, they're very sensitive. So
Mhm.
typically, I'll try to set the sensitivity of the microphone according to how loud I expect the actor to talk or how loud the environment is going to be that they're playing in. But I can still pick up stuff 20, 50, 100 feet away if it's loud enough, or if the room is silent and then something sudden happens, like if someone closes a door or if an alarm goes off on a cell phone, or it could just be a creaky room. And so even just adjusting your weight back and forth, you can hear that in the environment,
Hmm.
depending on where we are.
Which is makes it really important for us to remember when we're working with our cast to be, cautious of our conversations.
Mm.
Um,
Yes.
because casts wear microphones, and if the minute you think nobody's listening, there's Eric Marsh, and now he knows all your business.
Can you imagine the things he's heard?
Knows all your
Yeah,
business. I'm
that ends
sure
up
you.
leading into a lot of, I guess, just etiquette. Because like one of the most important things that I do is try to establish a good trusting relationship with the actors because the actors are aware that they're going to be wearing microphones for probably hours every day
Yeah.
until they're wrapped. And
Hmm.
so I'm not always the only person that can hear them. Oftentimes my assistant can hear them, or if I've given headsets to a director, a producer, a script supervisor, other people that need to hear what's going on in the scene, uh, I I have a responsibility to that actor to mute them whenever they don't need to be heard by the public, so that
Oh,
it
wow.
creates a good working set environment, and then they trust me more. It helps me with them when I to like make sudden changes or get into their wardrobe and make adjustments and so on. And so kind of one hand washes the other there.
Yeah. I
So
love
when you
that.
hear hot mic, that really kind of falls on the mixer when a hot mic is on.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, my control board is what's controlling the volume of every microphone on set, whether
Mm.
it's a lavalier or a boom or another one.
Can you explain to everyone what the kind of difference in the microphones are?
Oh, sure, sure. So the two main kind of microphones I use on set are the lavalier microphones, the really skinny ones. Those typically will be on someone's body, or sometimes we'll hide them somewhere in a room as a plant microphone. Um,
Mm.
and then the other style is the boom microphone, which is maybe about the size of like a sausage, I guess. They can be really small or they can be really, really long. It just depends on kind of the style of boom microphone. But typically those will be on the end of a pole. You'll see the boom operator somewhere nearby the actors, typically holding the boom up and extended so they can capture their audio without it seeming like they are on camera.
Now, what's the
I've always been
fuzzy thing
amazed
around
at
it
how
for?
long. Yeah.
Oh,
The fuzzy thing that's around the microphone, what is that for?
oh, that's for wind. Because like I was mentioning earlier, that the microphones are very sensitive. So if we're outside or if there are strong gusts of wind, you'll see typically different degrees of like hair or synthetic hair attached to the microphone. We usually call those dead cats or fuzzies. But they'll, depending on the strength of them, they can cut down wind by like 20, 30 miles an hour.
Oh,
So
wow.
that you don't hear whooshing and stuff while the actors are talking.
Mm. I'm learning a lot today.
I know, right? Thank you for the schooling.
Oh, thank
I've
you.
always been amazed with how you guys can stand holding that pole up for seems like forever. I'm like, did you go to school for that? Like, who taught you guys? Did you have to go to the gym? Like,
Arms lifted up,
how do you guys
like,
do that? Is it I mean, obviously it's a special technique that you guys do to hold it for what seems like eternity?
Well, yeah, because like you think that if you get through one take, you're done, but like one long take and you're done. But if they want multiple takes, they want multiple angles. So if a scene drags on for 5, 6 minutes with you being up there in the air, you have to get good at it so that you can repeat it over and over and over and over and over again until the scene's done.
oh my gosh.
Yeah,
But
because
it's
I'm
it's
like,
a
when
lot
we
of
at church,
back
they
and
tell us
forth.
to hold our hand up. I'm like, okay, how long we gonna be
And it's like
Mhm. Yeah.
here?
I can just imagine catching a Charlie horse in my shoulder or something like just I don't know, something crazy happened to my arm gets stuck. Like that's
Hmm.
happened to me braiding hair before where I remember I did some box braids on a girl very early in my hairstyling career because I hardly do those anymore. But it
Hmm.
took me like 6 hours to do them. And by the time I got done, this arm was just locked like
Yeah.
this. And I could hardly move it. So I can only imagine, what kind of physical, you know, ailments or things that you guys go through. Which is something that we were talking about earlier about just kind of staying healthy and
Mhm.
getting your rest and that kind of thing. Because
Yeah.
everybody on set has a role to play, and we're all there all day playing our
Hmm.
role. Yeah.
Hmm. No, for me, it
Eric,
usually feels like a sports team. Like every particular person on set is playing their position, and if everybody plays
Mhm.
it well, then the whole day goes smoothly, and you get a good product at the end. We have a good experience. But if
Mhm.
you start misfiring, then it kind of slows up the machine.
Oh yeah.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
What could we do in hair to make your job easier?
Uh, For me, the number one thing is calling spraying. I will often see hair and makeup artists, need to step in to do last looks or whatever, and will often need to spray a product of some kind near the actor's head. Just be mindful that they're probably wearing a microphone, that there may be a microphone above them if it's for an interview, and just tune out spraying so that way the product you're putting in the air doesn't stick inside the electronics and then potentially damage them.
Yeah,
Mm.
That way we
that is
can,
very
by announcing that spraying, you'll often see like an assistant camera operator will cover up the lens so product doesn't get on the glass. The boom operator will probably aim the microphone away for a moment. The actor or the makeup or hair artist in question might put a hand down to cover up the lob so the product doesn't get on it, or if they're
Mhm.
rehydrating something. Just that's probably the number one for me.
Yeah.
How does it affect the mic that's in the hair when we spray a product?
Uh, It's it kind of it gets it sticky. So if it's like hairspray or water or glycerin or whatever the product might be, it gets inside the mesh of the microphone and can lock onto it and just slowly will either destroy the material or will just prevent it from working as well as it should. I
Mm.
guess in a
Does
worst
it
case
affect the
scenario, it'll
sound?
short circuit something.
Does it affect the sound?
Over time, it might. If you have enough like sticky stuff inside the microphone, it'll start to clog it. So it's just kind of best practice to not do that, so it protects the equipment.
Yeah. So, did you have anybody that, because you said you went from wanting to be an engineer to working in production and then settled in sound? Did you have anybody that kind of mentored you within that realm, like showed you the ropes, how to do things, or was it kind of just like a learn it on your own type of thing?
It was kind of a mix of two different camps. One of them was certainly the group of students I connected with at UTA, because at the time when I switched majors, I became a freshman again.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the people I initially connected with were seniors. And so when they, graduated and started working on real film sets, they often would bring me on board for things to PA or to assist or to volunteer or whatever else. And I kind of got my very early on got my foot in the door through those connections because they saw how I operated on the student sets and felt like I was ready for whatever that next stage was. I guess the other camp would actually be my parents. My parents met on set in the 80s, but I had never really considered working in the production world until I got to college.
Oh, what a love story.
I know.
Precious. I love that.
I
Aw.
believe my mom was working in the office side doing, on the office side, my dad was on set.
And what did your dad do on set?
He kind of bounced around. He initially, I think, started doing grip and electric, did audio, did camera, and landed on technical directing for live events. And
Oh
my
wow,
mom
he
was
did it.
the kind of the production coordinator route.
Okay. That's awesome. So you kind of just been in this all your life.
In a way, yeah. Because when my dad would do stuff on set in the '90s, he would sometimes bring me on board to just to help out with things. So I was learning the basic basics at an early age. But like I said, I hadn't really. I guess because I was around it so much, I never really considered it as a career until much later.
Mm, okay.
What has been some of your favorite movies to watch as far as from a sound perspective?
The two biggest ones for me are probably the original Star Wars and Jurassic Park, just because the level of like sound creation they had to do for those films to make completely impossible things or things that we can't get access to and make them sound real and believable from the first take.
Hmm. Literally, because
Second,
how do you make a dinosaur noise?
Yeah,
Like,
but like nobody questions that that's what it sounds like because it
right,
just sounds real.
right.
so second question, what is your favorite movie from a sound perspective that was integrated with hair, makeup, and costumes, where you can tell, okay, they had to use a hair mic, and you was like, that is amazing, or can you tell?
Mm, I would probably lean on a musical at that point,
Hmm.
but for most of the jobs that I work on, I'm not using hair mic specifically because I'm typically kind of a one-man band in a reality situation. I see way more hair mics used in theater, especially musical theater.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can see that.
Makes sense. So, have you ever, okay, have you ever watched like the old Tyler Perry plays where
I've
they,
seen a couple, but it's been a long time.
where the microphone was like hanging here
Uh-huh.
under the wig? It was just hanging there. Is that considered a hair mic, or is that just like,
I would probably call that a hair mic. I would probably also call it a blooper if like it's sticking out that far.
yeah, it was just like,
Yeah. Yeah, I typically see them aimed like right in the center or somewhere near the edge of the hair, or sorry, edge of
okay,
the ear.
okay, okay. Yeah, that just used to crack me up all the time. You could see a wig and they used to just like right in the middle of their forehead, just right there.
Yeah. On
But it's
on
really good.
on pretty much any like procedural show you'll watch on TV, you'll spot lavalier mics inside the knot of ties for pretty much any man
Yeah.
on.
That makes sense. Okay, so does it
Who has
make
been?
is it go ahead, sis.
No, you go ahead.
Well, is it between men and women? Are
Mhm.
there places where, like you said, men you'll typically see it here in the necktie?
Yeah.
Um, what are like the most common places for you to place the wig on your talent if it's a male or a female?
Button-up shirts usually make it really easy because I'll just try to go like my aim typically is right at the sternum, regardless of whether they're male or female.
Hmm.
So kind of some safe places for guys would be like in the knot of a tie, maybe 2 or 3 buttons down on a button-up shirt.
Hmm.
Sometimes you'll see them put in like the collar of something, or if they're wearing like a more tight-fitting outfit, you'll just stick it straight to the skin and just try to get it in the middle of the chest.
Okay.
For most women, I love if I'm unable to stick it right to the outfit in that area, a bra clip is usually very convenient.
Okay.
And that would again just require kind of some dialogue ahead of time, so you're not just jumping into someone's shirt. I typically will tell them, hey, this is what I would like to do. This is how I plan to do it. If you haven't worn a microphone before, welcome to any input. If you're not comfortable with that, we can find another solution and
Mhm.
try to collectively come up with a plan so that I can record them well.
And so, have you had anyone tell you, no, I don't want to wear it?
I've had a few people tell me no. Most of those people have not been trained actors. They've
Yeah.
been people that are on camera for one reason or another, but they're not like from an acting school or an agency or anything. So
Mhm.
they'll typically say no. Can't the boom just get it? And I'm like, well, it can in a lot of scenarios, but it's not for every scenario. So
Mhm.
we would
Right.
love to have the lavalier on you as a safety. Usually their pushback is they don't want people to hear them when they don't want to be heard, which is totally
Right.
valid.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people say I would rather mic myself, and I'm like, okay, that's totally fine. But if you're going to mic yourself, put it in the right spot so that we don't have to keep adjusting it throughout the day, and it's not a bigger problem.
Yeah.
Right. Who have been some of your mentors in the business?
Like people I've met personally, or just like celebrities in the
I
film
All
mean,
of
world.
the
either or. Yeah. You
Sorry,
people
you caught
you've
me off guard with that
admired.
one. I wasn't ready.
above. We can come back to that question if you
Okay,
need.
okay.
In the meantime,
Give me a minute to think of that.
while Eric is thinking of his question, I hope you guys are thinking of your questions. Um, and if you're on Instagram, and because since we have this new platform, it's a little bit harder to see the questions on Instagram. You can put them
Yeah.
in the comments. If you do have questions for Eric, Sharice, or myself, you can put them in the comments, and we can try to answer y'all's questions. We still have about 20 or so minutes on the live today, so please ask away whatever you guys have. We want to make sure that you're heard and that everybody is able to, you know, interact with us today, because that's what we do here, right?
That's
So,
right.
so do you have that answer yet, Eric?
I think I have an answer for you.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm going to lean on something a little bigger. I'm going to just kind of lean on the local Dallas sound community. I feel like it can be very easy for people within departments to get competitive with one another because at the end of the day we're all competing for the same gigs.
Mhm.
But I feel like the Dallas uh, location sound community is very tight knit. We'll often refer one another for things all of the time. We're usually bringing one another on board as like assistants or boom ops or seconds or whatever else on various projects. And we try to get together once a year at the local mixer that we do
That's.
in January, February.
Nice.
Did I hear that you were working like overseas just recently? I think I heard a mention of that. Can you
Yeah,
talk about?
Do tell.
absolutely. So a few years back, I got connected to a local company called Paperlight, who does a lot of live
Oh,
events for esports. One of their big clients is Pokemon, and so Pokemon has maybe I think a dozen or so annual tournaments. They start at the regional level, then they'll build up to the international level, and they'll end the season with a world level tournament.
okay.
And so for the past 2 years, I've been traveling with them working on this documentary series. Season 1 is now on YouTube. It's called Road to Worlds, and it followed a handful of competitive Pokemon trainers that play the card game, kind of following them during one season of that, so people who are outside of that bubble can see what that world is like.
Okay. Cool.
What would
Okay.
you tell someone who aspired to be a sound mixer? What would you tell someone who's interested in getting into that world?
I would probably tell them PA as much as you can. Please go on YouTube and look at local resources because there are tons of sound mixers and tons of audio companies that make how-to videos so that you can learn menus, you can stay up to date on new gear, you can learn techniques on how to boom, on how to, I'll say, invoice appropriately. Learn
Mhm.
etiquette, stuff like that. So that way, by the time you get to set, you already have a general idea of kind of what this world is, and then you can make connections at that point. Actually, like getting to be in the presence of the people that you want to work with and kind of network that
Awesome.
Mm.
So we do have a few questions that are coming from our viewers on Instagram.
Yep.
The first question, and you kind of talked about this a little bit, but this first question is from Brushed. Being that you work closely with hair and makeup and costumes a lot,
way.
what are some common issues that you encounter, and what are workarounds that you use to resolve these issues?
Number one thing is probably with costumes and wardrobe. It always, always, always helps me to know what are the actors going to be wearing in which scenes,
Mhm.
because that completely a wardrobe change can completely change where I place the microphone. It can change where I hide the transmitter pack. It can change where we put antennas. Is the wardrobe going to be sheer now? Is it heavily starched? Is it super soft? Is it dark? Um, is it revealing any skin? Is it form fitting? Does it make a noise? Like a leather, for example, is a hard fabric for me to work around because it's so
Mhm.
heavy and thick. It often will inhibit how far the transmitter pack can throw, which is kind of a weird thing. So I might need to physically move myself closer to the actor to record them because the transmitter can't penetrate through like a heavy leather jacket.
Oh, that's
Is
Nice.
interesting.
So
Yes.
we're kind of knowing what they're going to wear so I can come up with a game plan ahead of time helps. Outside of that, it would usually be talking to whoever your director is about, I guess, how to phrase this. Creative decisions, like are the actors going to get wet at any point? How are you
Mm.
planning to shoot this? Are you going to have all wide shots where we can't use the boom and have to lean on the lavs? Are you going to have a mix of wide and close up so that we can get the boom in there? Again, it just helps kind of come up with a game plan of how can I bring my best game to this scene. So the more information I have, the more I can prepare for it.
That's awesome. Okay. So we do have another question.
Okay.
This one is from Elenia Eads.
All right.
Have you ever run into an unsafe situation involving sound and an actor that you had to address?
100%. There
Mm.
was a particular show, I'm not going to mention which one, where I was assigned to love somebody. This was a reality show, so no one is a trained actor.
Mhm.
I dropped the love pack down the man's shirt. It hits his waistband, and I hear this loud thunk. So I go to look, and he has a gun on him that's just
Oh,
in his back pocket. So
oh,
I go, I ask him, is this what I think it is? He goes, oh yeah, I never leave my house without it. And I was like, okay, like I respect
Texas.
that. I was like, but we're at work right now. Um, so I would love for this to not be on you.
Yeah.
He refused. So that was a situation where I called the producer to get them involved because I was like, I don't feel
yeah.
safe lobbing this guy because I don't. He's got a loaded weapon on set right now.
Yeah.
So
Right.
they had an extended conversation. They left the gun in his car. Like he still brought it to set, but it was in his vehicle, not on his person. But that was definitely a moment where I was like, oh, this like got very real all of a sudden, and I didn't.
Yeah.
It was not on
That's
my
crazy.
radar.
T. Oh my goodness. And why would you
Wow.
think like okay, come on now.
Yeah,
Ugh,
like it didn't make any sense to me, but the guy had his feelings.
understood.
Yeah. Let's
That's
not
crazy.
mess up on the shot. No
Right.
pun
Okay.
intended.
We have another question from KDI Concepts.
Yeah.
Her question is in regard to sound, why does the sound grow so loud in between scenes, especially when music is played while switching scenes? And that may also have to do with the quality of the production or the, I guess, hmm, not the quality, but the budget of the
Yeah,
production.
to me that sounds, if I'm understanding the question correctly, that sounds more like a creative decision. Like after you're offset, once you're in the editing room and they're putting together
Yeah.
the sound for that project, it sounds like they're choosing maybe to make it louder while the
Mhm.
Hmm.
music is getting louder. That's
Yeah.
not really something that I would necessarily control on set. That's like after I've turned over my files and the next person in the chain is manipulating them.
Yeah, that sounds like post-production.
Like production. I have a question.
Sure.
Can you explain to everybody what wild lines are?
Yes. So, uh, wild lines for me are usually when we have to record lines from an actor on set without the camera involved. So let's say that I'm trying to think of a scenario. Let's say that we're shooting in the woods and we record a dialogue scene between two people, and maybe on every single take there was one word that just wasn't recorded clean. Maybe there was a plane or a bird or leaf noise or something. And so we
Mhm.
might then take that actor aside after the scene is done and say, hey, can you just read this one sentence through a couple times in different ways so that we can have that word clean and we can stitch it in later.
Nice. Okay, now
Also,
everybody knows.
isn't it what air tone?
Oh, room tone.
Your room
Ro-
tone from air tone. I knew it was something tone. Can you explain what room tone is?
Sure, sure. So room tone is essentially recording the sound of silence in whatever your environment is, because not silence in each place doesn't always sound the same.
Mhm.
Silence in a gym will sound very different than silence in your kitchen.
Mm.
So we'll usually record about 30 seconds to a minute of just nothing after
And when is that
after we
done?
finish the scene. So that way, the post production people can then take that room tone and make it kind of uh, a baseline sound in the background. And as they're cutting from take to take to take to take to take, that will help audioly or orally stitch them all together and make it sound cohesive. Because if I without it, you'll hear a jump cut from like a close up to a wide shot to a POV to an insert to something else. But having that in the background will kind of um, set the ground for what that room sounds like.
Okay,
Okay.
it's like a transition.
Yeah, yeah, like it would help with that transition.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we have one more question.
Okay,
I think this can be our last question. Um, also from Alenia Eads.
okay.
What is a good way for us as hair, makeup, wardrobe, and other departments to address anything in, I'm sorry, to address any issues involving sound or level placement?
Lovelier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lavalier or lavalier?
I want to say it's lavalier.
Okay. Lavalier placement.
What is the word? Lava, lava, lava.
Lava.
Uh, I uh, I want to say just communicating. I've most of my day when I'm on set is spent kind of figuring out what is going to happen next. So that way I can try to stay ahead of whatever the curve is throughout the day.
Mhm.
I feel like if different departments, whether it's hair, makeup, wardrobe, camera, sound, production, whomever it may be, if we're all just communicating with one another on this is what I need to do, to do my job as best I can, and then it kind of goes to the next person. I feel like if we're all communicating with one another and staying on the same page, then everyone succeeds.
Yeah, I agree.
What are some of your pet peeves on set? As far as like, what do we do that just like irritates you? I want to know so I can do better with sound.
Um, Making dramatic adjustments without consulting anybody. I've had actors change clothes and not touch base with me, and I'll find the microphone somewhere else. It'll be like wrapped up or in a ball, or it's got tape all over it, and it's sitting nearby a wig. It could be sitting nearby their outfit. It could be at the hair and makeup table. Uh, so if someone needs to change clothes, if someone needs to change out of a wig that has a hair rig on it, just having someone from that department talk to sound department to say, hey, we're making a change. It involves you in some way. Let's kind of tackle this together so that it's all done safely and efficiently.
Yeah.
Okay. In other words, don't tear up my sound equipment.
Okay, because I'm sure that stuff is expensive.
Yeah,
Goodness.
I know, right?
yeah, it was like a lot of microphones are around like $330 or so, and they go up from there. And the transmitters are usually between like $1,000 and $2,000 a piece. So
Ooh,
like
honey.
if they suddenly get ripped off, or if an actor is being, how to phrase it, cut out of a wardrobe. I've seen lavaliers cut before because someone will just introduce scissors when scissors didn't need to be there,
Ooh.
and that's a more expensive fix and a more expensive reset that could have been solved by just talking to somebody.
Mm.
Yeah. Glad I
Okay.
asked that question.
We do have one more question, and I'm just so happy that everybody has so many questions.
Yeah.
Um, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Okay, this question is on Instagram from Is Harley-O. Is it common for wardrobe to help mic up an actor?
Absolutely.
In a little bit later, if you want to kind of touch on it again.
No, absolutely. There have been many situations where I've needed wardrobe to help either lave an actor, or where they're actually the people laving the actor because the wardrobe is so intricate. Sometimes it's with bodysuits, sometimes it's been with wedding dresses. It could be a situation where the actor might need to get almost completely nude in order to get into whatever that costume is, and they might feel more comfortable with the wardrobe people helping them get the microphone
Yeah.
on than having the sound person jump in mid dress, doing it, and then leaving.
Yeah.
So that's very, very common for me.
What about from the hair department? Do you like hair stylists to help you assist with the wigs when you are miking them?
Oh, absolutely, because wigs aren't traditionally in my department, so I may not handle them the same way that a hairstylist would. I may not. What looks good to me in terms of the mic being hidden may not be good for the hairstylist, because
Right.
I might have ruffled something that I didn't realize has now been changed. So I feel like
Mm.
if both departments have eyes on it, then we can both give a thumbs up and continue on.
Absolutely.
Well, you guys, we have come to the end of our live. Um, we want to thank everybody for joining us, whether it was from Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, because we're on all three now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are.
We want to thank you for joining us. Thanks again to Eric for taking time out of your Sunday. We know you probably had a busy week last week and got another one on the way. So thank you so much for taking some time out to talk with us. And everybody on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you are, just send up some hearts right now for Eric, showing him our
Yes.
gratitude. Oh my gosh,
It worked, yay! And we enjoyed you so much, Eric. Where can they find you on your social media platforms?
I'm on Instagram as Ahoy Benji, and I really think that's the only one I'm on right now. Like it's that and Facebook, but that's different.
You guys make sure you follow Eric. Go follow him right now. And you can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. And you can find us also on YouTube. If you want to go see this live, we will have it up very shortly. And as well as previous lives of our previous guests right on YouTube. And we want to thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next Sunday, same time, the same place, you guys. Thank you
Same
once
time,
again for
same
tuning
place.
in.
Thank y'all so much. Have a blessed week.
Cool.
We'll see
Thank you
y'all
Bye
very
next
much.
bye, everybody.
time. Wait, we still doing some okay. I'll do this, y'all.
Bye bye.